Hi, Dan from GMO here to show you how to use the church entry system. Before we go to the entry form, here's a quick description of the flow. First, search for your church to see if it's in the system. If it is, you can add yourself as a contact. You cannot edit the other information. Only the person who entered the church into the system can do so. If your church is not listed, you can add the church and put in the basic information. Remember that you are the default contact person. Do not add a church unless you're willing to be the contact person, at least temporarily. You, or the person who entered the church, should then fill in the service times and other important information. Now, people from around the world will be able to find a good church close to them where they can connect to the body of Christ and grow in their walk with God. Now, let's go to the church entry system itself and see how this works. Use this window to see if your church is already in the system. Let's look for Vista Community Church. Here it is. Here in this view, I can click here to add myself as a contact for this church. I can also click here to see what information is already on file. Now let's see what happens if your church is not already in the system. I'm clicking Home to go back to the home screen. Here in the search window, I'll look for Grizzly Peak Baptist. Right away, I see that it's not here. I can click right here or on the Add a New Church button. This takes me to the Add New Church form. I type the church name here. If your name does not show up as the contact right here, choose your name from the drop-down list. Every church needs to have at least one contact person, ideally an online missionary who attends that church or at least lives in that city. You enter an address by clicking on this button. This brings up the Add New Address form. Type the address. Then on the next field, enter the city and state. The search window will narrow down until you can pick your city off the drop-down list. After you've added the zip code, hit the preview button. You should see your church on a map. If the location is correct, hit Insert. Now this church can be found later by a geographic search. The language is required. I skipped straight to English by typing the letter E when I entered this text box. You can enter the denomination if you like. Because there are so many denominations, we've tried to keep the list very general. We'll add more soon. You'll need to check this box to affirm that this is a good, strong church that you can confidently recommend for seekers and new believers. If you need a refresher on the GMO Statement of Faith, click here and it will pop up in another tab or window. Create the church by hitting this button, or use this button to create and add services. This brings you to the Add New Service form. Pick your day. Sunday is the default. Add the time using the little tool, or type it in yourself. If this service meets at an alternate location, you could delete the address and put in a different one, again using the Add New Address form. If the language or worship style are different from the church's regular ones, change them here. You can add as many services as you like using this button. When you're all done, click Create, click on the Services tab, and see all your services listed here. Finally, let's click on the Information tab to see or add the other information for this church. These are all optional, but you really should provide a web page and phone number, if possible. Remember to hit Update to save your changes. That's your quick tour of the GMO Church Entry System. Thanks again for helping us make it possible for our GMO contacts to find a good church anywhere in the world.